Hey folks, want to come on here and do a quick solo episode. This one's going to be about the business of Crocs. For those of you who don't know, they are a footwear company, maybe other things too, which we'll talk about. But I'm wearing a pair of clogs at the moment. If you're on Spotify or YouTube, you can see them. Beige, I believe. I think that's the color. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I think it's correct. But yes, let's jump into it. So, company overview number one, founded in 2002 in Boulder, Colorado, USA. Headquarters, Broomfield, Colorado, USA. Type, public company traded on the NASDAQ as Crocs, CROX. Industry, footwear slash casual slash lifestyle. Mission, quote, this is fun to provide comfort and self-expression through casual footwear, end quote. Crocs started as a casual, lightweight foam clog, but has expanded into a lifestyle brand with a wide variety of footwear. Number two, business model. Crocs operates with a hybrid model, direct to consumer, and we'll use the B word brackets, D to C, N bracket, and wholesale, which is the last time we'll use it. Number one, product focus, iconic Croc slide. This is a trademark. It says TM on the top right. For those of you who aren't aware, just go into quick what a trademark is. A trademark is a form of intellectual property that legally protects a brand's unique identity, such as a name, logo, phrase, sound, or scent, distinguishing products or services from competitors. Registered trademarks provide exclusive rights to use the mark, preventing others from using identical or similar marks. Key aspects of trademarks: purpose to identify the source of goods or services and build customer trust. What can be registered? Words, logos, phrases, letters, numbers, shapes, scents, sounds, and colors. Protection level. Registered trademarks offer stronger legal protection than unregistered ones, allowing users to enforce exclusive rights. Duration. In Australia, registered trademarks last for 10 years and can be renewed indefinitely. Ownership. Registration establish ownership and acts as a business asset. Distinction. Unlike a registered business name, which only covers the name, a trademark protects the brand identity. Trademark symbol, TM, trademark at the top right hand side, or just a smaller version. Used for unregistered marks to indicate a claim of ownership, and then there's an or with a circle around it. Registered, used only for formally registered trademarks. Common types of trademarks: you've brand names slash logos, the most common forms such as a company logo or product name. Trade dress, specific packaging or specific packaging shapes or colors that represent a brand. Certification marks used to certify that products meet certain standards, such as the quote Australian made end quote logo. Sound slash movement marks, specific jingles or moving logos like a distinctive sound or a branded animation. Registration process. Trademarks are registered with government agencies such as IP Australia or the United States Patents and Trademark Office, USPTO. It's probably the same in other countries around the world if you want to look it up in where you're located. It is crucial to search for existing trademarks before registering to avoid conflicts. Let's get back into the episode. So we've iconic Crosslight, which is trademarked clogs made from proprietary foam resin for comfort and durability, expanding into sandals, sneakers, boots, and accessories. Collaborations with designers, pop culture, and celebrities: Balenciaga, Justin Bieber, Post Malone. Number two, revenue streams: direct to consumer, company stores, and e-commerce. Approximately 50 to 60% of sales is we already talked about the company stores and e-commerce. For those of you who don't know, e-commerce is, or direct to consumer. Let's get into this for one sec because this may pop up in future episodes. If you're they're an avid listener, which we talked about, there are people that listen a lot, which is great. I used to listen to a lot of podcasts a lot when I enjoyed. Let's look up what is direct to consumer. Direct to consumer, and it says D2C or D number 2C, is a retail model where Brands sell products directly to end consumers, bypassing third-party wholesales, retailers, or middlemen. By controlling the entire process from production to shipping, brands gain valuable data, better margins, and direct-to-consumer relationships. Examples include Nike, Dollar Shave Club, and Warby Parker. Key aspects of the D2C model: direct-to-consumer control. Brands manage their own websites, marketing, and often their own logistics. Data collection: companies collect first-party data to tailor marketing and improve products. Lower overheads: by eliminating traditional retail partners, brands can often offer lower prices or higher quality goods. Omnichannel presence: I feel like I'm complicating it by talking about this is the AI of Google. While often online first, many direct-to-consumer brands also utilize their own physical and brand stores. We'll get into an example now in a sec, which you already talked about. Benefits: enhanced consumer experience. So direct interaction enables personalized service and faster, more efficient fulfillment. Higher margins: avoiding retail markup allows for better profitability. Brand loyalty: direct control over the customer relationship fosters stronger brand growth. Common examples: Nike selling via its own app or site, Gillette using a subscription model, Levi's investing in e-commerce or its own retail, SKDA custom motocross graphics. I don't know if that explains it or makes it. I'm just going to look up a simpler, very simple. Direct-to-consumer, D2C or D2C, the number means a brand makes its own products and sells them directly to the final customers. Sort of like a lemonade stand. Someone makes their own lemonade and sells it to customers. Bypassing third-party retailers, wholesalers, or middlemen. So selling your lemonade to someone else and then they then sell their lemonade to someone else. The customer is the end customer. Hopefully that makes sense. That would be like the middleman. So if I, Ryan, made my own lemonade in the kitchen, I would go to my, let's say, friend, or excuse me, next door neighbor, and say, would you like to buy my lemonade so you can sell it to people that walk by your house? And they say yes or no. I say yes, so they're the middleman. I sell them my lemonade and they sell the lemonade to the end customer. I think that's how it works. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I've done that in a while. I don't think I've ever done it. Essentially, instead of buying a brand's product at a store like Target or Walmart, you buy directly from the brand's own website. So this would be me selling my lemonade on my own website. So I make it in the kitchen and I go and sell my lemonade. I don't think, anyway, we're not complicated. I sell my lemonade or my lemonade cups to go with my lemonade and my lemonade ingredients on the website directly. Not excuse me, directly. I sell them on my own website or my own store. I don't go through someone else like the neighbor to sell. Yep, if that's correct. Essentially, instead of buying the brands, we were talking about it. Very simple, traditional. You buy a brand of shoes from a sporting good, the middleman. So you can buy my lemonade from the neighbors. D2C, you buy that same brand of shoes directly from the website, or you can buy my lemonade from the website. So it's pretty straightforward. Key characteristics: no middleman. The brand handles everything from production to shipping. So I would handle my lemonade. The whole thing would be from me making the lemonade in the kitchen to shipping the lemonade or cans of lemonade. We're getting pretty fancy now, or bottles of lemonade to your house. Online focus: most D2C brands sell primarily to their own website or social channels. I would set up social media pages for my lemonade store online. So I have a lemonade website. I have social media for my lemonade store on the website, my lemonade website, and I have, let's say it starts to go well, I would set up my own lemonade store outside the house, or I would go to, let's say, for example, the city and get my own store or storefront or a market, and I could sell my own lemonade in a market, and I'd have a social media page for my lemonade. Excuse me, I don't mean to sound like I'm demeaning or bring anyone down by saying that, but it's just I'm trying to make a simple example. Not a simple, it's also that can be time consuming, but an example that I can fully comprehend and understand. I hope you others can as well. Online focus, most D2C brands sell primarily through their own website or social media channels, so you can sell through social media. So I can sell lemonade via, I think it's, let me just, have TikTok, have shopping app. I don't know if you can sell liquids, so you may have to sell your, you may have to create T-shirts for your lemonade stand. So this is Ryan's lemonade T-shirt, and then you buy or you come up with a better name than maybe your own name or maybe not. So Ryan's Lemonade, and you get the T-shirts, and you sell the T-shirts with the big lemon on it, and it goes from there. Instagram shopping as well. You have Facebook marketplaces. Is social media. This isn't financial advice, but just an idea here. I do myself even looking. Social media shopping or social e-commerce, I don't want to get too complicated. Direct in-app purchase of products like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, browsing social media with e-commerce. So you have a relationship with the customer. So it's the exact same online as me selling my lemonade outside the house. I talk to the customer or the apartment or whatever location you're in, or even outside on the street, excuse me. I don't know the legalities around selling lemonade, but just thought I'd share there. Key characteristics, no middleman. A very simple definition. Traditional, you buy a brand of shoes. We talked about that. D2C, you buy the same brand of shoes directly from their website. Key characteristics, no middleman. The brand handles everything from production to shipping. We talked about that, from making the lemonade to then selling the lemonade or bottles of that lemonade online. Online focus, most D2C brands sell primarily through their own websites, so selling the lemonade through my own website or selling the lemonade through my social media channels. Control, the brand controls the entire experience, including the branding, pricing, and shipping. For example, my lemonade stand could have a unique taste, so the experience, so the taste of the product, the branding, the color of the cups I use, the bottles I use, or the experience could be when you get the product. It could come with a note, or it could come with a certain scent, or whatever the experience you get by opening or getting the lemonade drink. Including branding, the color of packaging that I use, from how big the lemonade cups are, or the t-shirts that I decide to use for the lemonade brand. Pricing, the different prices that I use, that I set for the lemonade, maybe lemonade bottles, maybe lemonade, or maybe just lemonade, maybe just sell lemonade. And shipping, so shipping the lemonade. Data ownership, so the brand gathers first-party data directly from customers, and that would be email addresses online. So when you sell the lemonade in person, you can get people to sign up for email address. You can contact them online. I don't know, again, the details of selling lemonade online. Email addresses, behavior to improve products, the data ownership, so you have that information, someone's name, someone's email. Why brands use direct to consumer? Number one, higher profits. So by removing retailers, brands keep more of the profit. For example, I would go to if I'm selling my own lemonade, what I mean by retailers is I would go to a store in, let's say, the city and say, would you like to sell my lemonade for me? And by going direct to consumer online or in person outside the house or in a market, I can just get all the money, or more money, more profit. So I can use to, let's say, buy a new pair of shoes, or buy a new t-shirt, or buy some food, or rent, or so. Number two, lower prices. Brands can pass savings to the customer because they don't, or mortgage, or a lot of different things. Or just McDonald's, or yeah. Lower prices, brands can pass. I don't mean to stress at anyone there. 14 minutes in, so lower prices, brands can pass savings to the customer because they don't have to pay wholesale markups. Three, stronger relationships. Brands can pass savings to the customer because they don't have wholesale. That's the same as get the retailers, get the people in the city to sell your lemonade. Very similar. You can have lower prices now because you don't have to make sure that the retailers are included in the price. The cost, yeah, the price, excuse me. Uh, Number three, stronger relationships. Brands can talk directly to customers to build loyalty. So when you sell lemonade outside the house in the market, you can talk to people selling flowers or selling anything. When you're direct to consumer, you have that relationship. You can build loyalty, you can build trust. You can almost like having your own restaurant or serving your own food or your own coffee. It's very, very unique. Well-known examples of DDC brands include Warby Parker glasses, Casper mattresses, Dollar Shave Club razors, Gymshark fitness apparel. So direct to consumer, we'll go back to Crocs, is company stores and e-commerce. Approximately 50 to 60% of sales is the direct to consumer. So they own that relationship with the customer. I'm presuming they sell it through their website or in their stores, the Crocs. Wholesale slash retail partners, global chains like Foot Locker, department stores, collaborations and limited edition, high margin, hype driven products. So they probably sell it for a lot more money when they collaborate with examples of Justin Bieber or Post Malone or Balenciaga. Number three, pricing and margins. Mid-range pricing, generally around $40 to $80. I think that's AUD. Again, I'm not. This isn't a sponsored podcast, but I'm saying that I haven't done a sponsored one yet. I was looking for a while for a sponsor, and then I decided to hold off because I was moving to Sydney. I know it's online. We may see if we can get a sponsor again. Yeah, $40 to $80 for Crocs is in AUD, Australian dollars. Just for anyone listening in the EU, it would be about 67.50. 33.70 to 67.50 euro, around 20 to 40 euro. I think that's it. Maybe I'm wrong in saying that. Let me look it up here. How much is a pair of standard pair of adult Crocs, classic Crocs, is between €35 and €50. In Europe, again, I'm not saying to go out and buy a pair. I just thought I'd mention it here. This is a business podcast, so how much the price point they're selling for is mid-range. For standard clogs, more for collaborations. Strong gross margins around 40 to 50% due to proprietary material and brand loyalty. Let's get into this. The margin is how much they make off the product. So the cost of making it, presuming, which is not good, or maybe assuming, is around 60 to 50%. So cost to make and sell and send the Crocs out, and then they would take in around 40 to 50% of it due to their proprietary material, which we talked about, their trademark, the iconic Crocs Light. Trademark clogs made from proprietary foam, resistant comfort and durability. Recent comfort and durability. Due to proprietary material and brand loyalty, people seem to love Crocs. And yeah, I think they're a great product. I use them at the moment. I go through them quite a bit because I'm in them a lot, and I wear them in all different sorts. I wear them to the sauna. Sometimes when I'm at the beach, or even you can get in the water with them. I wouldn't recommend it, but maybe some people do. So. Number three, financial highlights, recent trends, or even out and about for fashion. Revenue, 2.5 to 3 billion annually. Net income, hundreds of millions with strong profit margin. Growth drivers, so how this business is growing, how this direct-to-consumer business is growing. Celebrity slash pop culture collaborations. It creates, quote, viral, end quote, demand. So collaborations is a key one, how they're growing. International expansion, especially in Asia and Europe. So they're an American company. They will go from to different markets, into Asia, that continent, and also into Europe. I don't want to sound like, and hopefully it comes across the right way. Direct-to-consumer sales and e-commerce growth, presuming that's due to, or assuming, which is not great, but that could be just due to their collaborations, their viral demand online. They probably get more people coming to the website for their e-commerce growth. And they may use advertising as well. I'm not 100% sure. They may do paid ads via Meta. and also via Google. But the most important thing that comes to me with growth drivers is celebrity slash pop culture collaborations. They've done a lot of collaborations outside of the notable Balenciaga, Justin Bieber, and Post Malone. I think there's a number of other people that have collaborated. For those of you who are wondering as well, is 2.5 to 3 billion annually, is that a big direct to consumer, or globally is that big? Let's get into it. Or a large D2C company. Sounds like the billion, sounds like a big company. Yes, a direct to consumer company, D2C, generating 2.5 to 3 billion in annual revenues is considered very large. Market leading player. Context within the market, with many notable D2C brands, e.g., Everlane, are collaborated at the 100. And we won't get into market at the moment. Sound like I'm talking about e-commerce. The market. One sec. If you go to your local, if you ever on a Sunday in a park, or if you're or you've heard the term a farmer's market, you go in, there's different stalls. I think that's what they mean, the context of the market. So when you get there, there's different stalls, and one of these stalls would be a direct to consumer company like Crocs. Excuse me, a market is any venue, physical or virtual, where buyers and sellers interact to exchange goods, services, or information, typically facilitated by supply and demand, which determines prices. It acts as a mechanism for transactions ranging from local farmers markets to global digital platforms like Amazon or stock exchanges. Key aspects of markets include participants, consists of buyers, that's demand, I won't mention the B word, and sellers, supply. Function enables trade, determines prices, and helps allocate resources. Types can be physical, retail stores, or virtual slash electronic, e-commerce, stock markets. Market structure ranges from competitive markets, many sellers, to monopolies, one seller. Economic context, it refers to the overall demand for a product, e.g., quote, the housing market, end quote, or a geographical area where trade occurs. Essentially, a market is a structured, sometimes unstructured environment that facilitates exchange. I really like that. I don't know if I repeat it, but I just really like that. I will. Essentially, a market is a structured or sometimes unstructured environment that facilitates exchange. I know we're going over 15 minutes, but so be it. I enjoy all the episodes, but this one in particular. For competitive advantages, which is super interesting, how they manage to stay in business and different ways they can be a leader in their market. We already talked about 2.5 to 3 billion annually is a very large direct to consumer company. And within that, just context in the market, which we'll get, while a notable DTC brands, e.g., Everlane, are celebrated at the 100 to 200 million revenue mark. A 2.5 to 3 billion valuation or revenue puts a brand among the top mature or quote unicorn end quote status in companies in the sector. Scale comparison for context, in 2019, only a small number of DTC brands have reached the quote real scale end quote. By 2022, total US, so this is the number one economy in the world, DTC e-commerce revenue was estimated at around $128 billion. We already talked about economies, we'll make it into the end, but that figure includes thousands of companies making a single, maybe we'll mention it, the number one economy means we talked about the US. Being the number one economy means a country possesses the highest gross domestic product GDP in the world, representing the largest annual output of goods and services. These produce the most amount. As of 2025 to 2026, the US holds this position, commanding roughly 24% of the global GDP. Being the top economy generally signifies the following according to provided research. This is the AI overview on Google. Global economic dominance, the top economy acts as a major driver of international trade, investment flows, and market and financial market stability. Massive purchasing power and demand, the country is the largest buyer of goods and services, which influence global supply chains and shapes the economic growth of other nations. We won't get into supply chains right now. Technological and innovative leadership. The number one economy often leads in research and development, R&D, selling technological trends that reshape industries worldwide. Reserve currency status. The US dollar as the currency of the top economy acts as the world's primary reserve currency, providing the US with unique capabilities to manage debt and influence global monetary policy. High corporate concentration. It is home to many of the world's largest, most influential corporations, e.g. Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon. Geopolitical power and economic lead translates into substantial influence over international policies and trade agreements. Important distinctions: GDP versus prosperity. Being the largest economy does not automatically mean it is the, quote, richest, end quote, in terms of individual wealth. A large population like China or India can have a high total GDP but a lower GDP per capita, means resources are spread thinner. Size versus strength. While the US is... Oh, excuse me. While the US is the number one by nominal GDP, other nations might lead in specific sectors, e.g. China in manufacturing, or display higher growth momentum. Nominal versus PPP. The rankings can differ based on whether they are measured by nominal GDP using exchange rates or purchasing power, purchasing power parity PPP, which accounts for the cost of living differences. 26 minutes in. Very simple. We said we wouldn't do it. What is a supply chain? A supply chain is we won't get into it. We're going way off Crocs here. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into competitive advantage. Number 4, brand recognition and iconic design. We already showed on the video the way it looks. Very recognizable and tied to comfort, which I'm not going to lie, it's quite good. Proprietary material. The Croslite trademark is another way they have competitive advantage. They're lightweight, durable, and antimicrobial. Yeah. So their trademark, the recognition of the shape of the product and its design. Viral / pop culture marketing, collaborations with hype and exclusivity. So there's a lot of momentum around it, and not many people can get to them because they probably only have a number of clogs on sale, so hence the exclusivity and the hype. We won't get into the definition of exclusivity. Global presence, sold in over 90 countries, maybe another day. 5 challenges. Fashion trends are often fickle. Clogs can be, quote, in, end quote, or out, quote, out, end quote, quickly. Competition from other casual footwear brands, Nike Slides, Birkenstocks, Vans, Skechers. Depends on collaborations and hype for growth. 6, future outlook. Continuing limited edition collaborations to maintain cultural relevance. Expanding digital presence and direct-to-consumer channels. Diversifying footwear offerings beyond classic clogs. Focus on sustainability. Some Crocs now use recycled materials. In short, Crocs is a very iconic casual footwear leveraging. If this was this, I'm thinking Gemini. We've gone to the whole thing. One sec. I feel like this is a bit of a interesting podcast. We've gone through a lot of things. The world's most polarizing foam clogs and Gemini, whether you view it as, quote, fashion crime, end quote, or, quote, orthopedic bliss, end quote, there are no denying that Crocs have pulled off one of the greatest brand comebacks in history. As of 2026, Crocs have transitioned its, quote, ugly shoe, end quote, reputation to become a multi-billion-dollar cultural powerhouse, which we already got into. Here is the lowdown on why they're everywhere right now. The 2026 vibe from, quote, ugly, end quote, to, quote, iconic, end quote. Crocs are currently in their quote culture building end quote era. They are no longer just shoes for gardening or nursing shifts. They are a canvas for self-expression. We talked about the mission. The Lego partnership just announced this month. The excuse me, Lego. We mentioned their collaborations for hype and exclusivity that they use for growth and as competitive advantage. Just announced this month the Lego Crocs. It says like there's an X mark, presuming for collaboration. The quote brick clogs end quote, and then the price point is a little higher. So we talked about the exclusivity, which I already mentioned. $99. I think that's USD, or maybe it's AUD. Have the latest viral sensation. Are literally They literally look like giant red Lego bricks and come with a minifigure wearing its own tiny pair of Crocs. High fashion designers like Kiko Kostadinov, Kiko Kostadinov, I think I got that correct, just debuted sleek leather infused Crocs at Paris Fashion Week. These are all the ways they're growing, providing that the brand can pivot from quote backyard rubber and a competitive advantage end quote to quote runaway chic end quote. The gibbets end quote economy, the little charms you put on the holes have become a massive secondary market. People use them to signal everything from their favorite snacks to their political learnings. What are they actually made of? Despite common misconceptions, Crocs are not made from rubber or plastic. We already talked about the Crosslight trademark. This is a proprietary, quote, closed cell resin, end quote. It's a foam material that is not marking, odor resistant, and most importantly, uses your body heat to soften and mold the shoe to your foot. Sustainability, the brand, which is great I typically wear them. I used to wear them after I was running. Now wear them sometimes walking, or maybe before or after a training session. Sustainability, the brand is moving toward a quote based end quote Crosslight to lower their carbon footprint, aiming for a net zero by 2040. Why are they so popular again? Number one, post-pandemic comfort. After the lockdowns of early 2020s, the world has collectively decided that being comfortable is more important than looking quote traditional end quote. Number two, the collaboration king. We mentioned again, this is how they use the competitive advantage and for growth. By partnering with everyone from Justin Bieber and Post Malone to Balenciaga and Lego, they've stayed in the news cycle constantly. Irony as a trend. Gen Z embraced the quote, so bad it's good, end quote, aesthetic, turning the quote, ugly, end quote, factor into the badge of authenticity. Pro tip, the quote, 13 holes rule. Every classic Crocs clog has exactly 13 holes per shoe. They aren't just for decoration, they provide ventilation and drainage, and of course serve as the docking stations for your gibbets. Fun fact, the company was named Crocs, quote, Crocs, end quote, because the shoes are amphibious. They work on land and in water just like a crocodile. Which we already talked about. Amphibious, excuse me. I know this word. They work on land and in water just like a crocodile. Crocs are lightweight foam footwear. We already mentioned iconic clog design. I don't mean to sound like an idiot there. Crosslight material offering comfort and versatility. Popular for casual wear, they surged in demand during the pandemic and remain a fashion staple today. Brand overview, we went over that already. Just something to add. The brand expanded globally. It was founded in 2002, which you already mentioned, but the brand expanded globally after they successfully IPO'd. We mentioned what initial public offering is in 2006. Maybe we'll cover it again if anyone asks. And saw sales boom by 2020 through collaborations and casual trends. Popularity in Australia. In Sydney, Crocs are widely available at retailers like Anaconda, StyleThread, Foot Locker AU, and BCF, with options for men, women, and kids, including sales and free delivery over certain amounts. They're ideal for outdoor activities like trail running due to their water-friendly, lightweight build. Key features: Crocs provide all-day comfort, breathability, and easy cleaning. Style ranges: they're from classics to clogs to sandals. This is what it says here on Perplexity. Slides and collabs, e.g. Disney characters, suited for beach, work, casual use, available in vibrant colors and patterns. Let's just go over one sec. For those of you that are wondering what an IPO is, we'll just briefly touch upon it. An initial public offering, we talked about this already the second time, a few episodes ago, is the process where a private company, so my lemonade company, offers its shares to the public for the first time, typically on a stock exchange, to raise capital. Core process: companies pursue an IPO to fund growth, pay debts, or allow early investors to cash out. This is on Perplexity. You probably have to talk to investment banks to do this. Underwrite the offering, set a share price, and handle marketing via a prospectus detailing finances and risks. Types: fixed prices, share prices set upfront before bidding opens. Book building: price range offered, final price based on investor bids. Post IPO: shares then trade publicly, with the company facing ongoing disclosure rules like SEC filings, that's in the US, or ASIC oversight in Australia. In Crocs' case, their 2006 IPO fueled a global expansion outside of the US, which they were founded. They moved into Asia and Europe, I think. Are they? Presuming. Yes, they're in Africa and other markets. So it's the direct-to-consumer and South America. We talked about them expanding into Europe and Asia. Yes, they're available in South America globally, it seems like. One thing to know about Crocs. One key thing to know about Crocs is their success is built on comfort plus cultural hype. The shoe themselves are made from Croslite, which we talked about, trademarked a propriety which is a competitive advantage, foam resin, which makes them lightweight, durable, and comfortable. But what really skyrocketed Crocs' popularity are celebrity collaborations, limited editions, and viral trends, turning a simple clog into a fashion statement. In short, Crocs sells comfort, but culture sells the brand. Fascinating stuff. Yeah, I'm sold. I just bought a new pair today. Got rid of the old ones. I think they're great. And yeah, if there's a one big takeaway, I suppose, their success as a company: 2.5 to 3 billion annually USD, which in AUD is $2.5 to 3 billion USD is approximately around 3.61 to 4.33 billion Australian dollars AUD. Yeah, so fascinating. One last takeaway, which we'll go over for the third time, which is absolutely no problem, just in case. Someone may be interested in doing a case study on Crocs, or already has one, or is talking about it around a dinner table today, or being it is Australia Day, or is thinking about maybe doing a presentation in university, or even talking in work or looking to apply to your own business, is how they grew and where they kind of, not where they kind of, but what is the one thing to take away from the company or business of Crocs is this on ChatGPT. The one thing to know about Crocs is their success is built on comfort, the whole shoe and the product, plus cultural hype. We already talked about the shoes themselves are made from Croslite technology, a propriety, which is a trademark, propriety foam resin, which makes them lightweight, durable, and comfortable. But really skyrocket Crocs' popularity are celebrity collaborations, limited editions, and viral trends, turning them into a simple clog, turning a simple clog into a fashion statement. In short, Crocs sells comfort, but culture sells the brand. I think that's it. I'm confusing myself now by saying it 3 times, but yeah, that's the podcast. It's coming up in 40 minutes. I think it's a good one. 77 Crocs. Thanks for listening, folks, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.